A bird once gave me $2. What's the nicest, strangest thing an animal has ever done for you? When I was a kid, my chocolate lab used to take all my stuffed animals and arrange them in a huge, neat pyramid near wherever I was playing. Toy delivery service. Retriever's thought process is basically, hey, let me get you things. As a treat, we would feed my cockatiel Cheerios. He loved them and would chirp excitedly whenever we told him it was time for breakfast, positively gushing over the clear plastic container we kept them in. One day, my mother wakes me up and lets me know breakfast is ready. I hadn't slept well, so it took me much longer to get out of bed than normal. The bird starts chirping, grabs one of the Cheerios we left on top of his cage. We would usually leave him a few, walks over, and tries to shove it in my mouth. I woke up rather quickly after that. My bird does this for my dog. He drops a few seeds on the floor, and the dog rushes over to eat them. The only difference is that as soon as the dog starts eating, the bird turns around and poops on him. My cat once picked up my dirty sock in its mouth, carried it to the washing basket and dropped it in. He never did it again. He was trying to motivate you. See, stupid human. It's so easy, you pick it up, walk 10 steps, and drop it in. I'll never understand why you keep your den so messy. I had a cat who would walk me to the bus stop before school and then meet me on the way home after school. Also once had a bird hop up to me and pull out a feather and dropped it at my feet. I think you're thornberry. I had a very fat, outdoor cat as a child that acted like a dog. He would walk my younger sister and I to the bus stop, then wait and pretend he was busy with other things on the side of the road until the bus came. He never left until the bus arrived, no matter how long we were waiting. He would only turn around and walk home once he saw my sister and I get on the bus and it was pulling away. He may have been just a cat, but it was nice feeling like someone was looking out for us. They always pretend like they're not watching. I was mad at my uncle for throwing me into the lake and a squirrel started throwing nuts at him cause he was invading his space. Squeak squeak a squeak squeakin'. Lived with usually dumb as a box of lobotomized hammers dog that I used to walk in a nearby park. One day, I stepped on a board with nails sticking up buried in leaves. It went deep enough I start bleeding badly stepping off. My dog runs off. Freaking great, I'm alone in the woods, bleeding like a stuck pig, and I'm about to pass out from the pain. Stupid dog can't even stand there and bark or something. Then she comes back with someone else's frisbee, followed by a bunch of kids, who help me out of the woods and call my house and the hospital. This was a dog who regularly walked into walls or tried to catch tennis balls with her butt. How on earth she ever figured out a 3-step process to get me help, I don't know, but she was an awesome pup. During one of my travels I was staying on an island that happened to be home to several wild dogs. I was walking along the beach minding my own business, when one of the dogs came up to me, tail wagging, acting friendly. I petted her and hung out with her for a bit before we parted ways. A few minutes later as I continued walking, I came across a particularly aggressive dog who was not at all pleased with me walking across his part of the beach. He was growling, barking, etc. Basically just acting very territorial, and I felt that if I got closer he may actually attack me. Unfortunately, I had to cross this part of the beach to get back to where I was staying. So, as I tentatively try to walk past the dog and avoid confrontation, the friendly female dog sprints across the beach towards me, and gets in between me and the aggressive dog. She stayed very close to my side as I walked, eyes on the aggressive dog, until I was a safe distance away. I patted her on the head, and off she went. Sorry for the terrible story writing. English is my first language but I am bad at it. TL. DR. Dog bodyguard. We were fishing once and caught something big, pulled up this massive crab that had a loony in his claw. At the time it was the most bad butt thing ever. I once walked into our chicken pen and they all randomly attacked me, so I ran out screaming. I didn't notice that there was a tiger snake 2 steps in front of me and if they hadn't attacked me I would have stepped on it. Thought that was pretty nice of them, except for the scars I have from their claws digging into me, but better than a snake bite. Maybe they didn't want to F in their house. I was in bed with a cold. One of those head colds with no energy and oodles of misery. I reached for the Kleenex in the box, fell off the bookshelf. From my sickbed, it looked like it was at the bottom of a cliff. My dog, a boxer lab rescue, walked in and looked at me. I half-jokingly feebly said, "Bring it here, buddy," and he walked over, grabbed the box, handed it to me, and laid down next to the bed, keeping me company the rest of the evening. Best dog ever. Almost as if they have been selectively bred for thousands of years to do things for us. That's hard to beat. OP. When I was a little kid and afraid of dogs, a dog wandered into the yard and I freaked out. My cat chased the dog away from me. You were born for it. I was incredibly sick and my cat snuggled with me the entire time until I recovered. Periodically, he would lick my hair, purring the whole time. That cat really loved me. I don't think I've ever had an animal be so attached to me since. It's only cause you were feverish and therefore a perfect kitty space heater. I once dropped a pill in the kitchen and casually asked my dog, "Hey, did you see where that went?" She padded across the floor, pointed with her nose, and looked at me. There was my pill. I swear dogs have a sixth sense about how people are feeling. It never fails. If I am upset about something or in a bad mood, my dog, always give me more attention, affection than normal. Any bad breakup, family death, argument, fight, etc. Any dog I have had at the time always seems to just be staring right through me to my soul. LOL. Most recently, after breaking up with my girlfriend of 5 years, I was having a hard time sleeping at night and my mind would just race with negative thoughts. After about 30 minutes of this, she would come downstairs, hop in bed, lay directly on my chest, a 75-pound pit bull BTW, and just lick my face neck until I would crack up laughing. Now she still is my little spoon when I sleep at night. That winky face is making me uneasy. A reindeer tried to eat my sister when she was little. I still wish that it did. That animal had no clue how much it would have helped me if it did. A mouse once bit my sister. The nicest thing my cats ever did was to make me feel like a mommy. My daughter passed away 6 days after birth from a genetic disorder we didn't know she had until the day she died. We knew something was wrong, but not what until the very end. It didn't matter, it was random, that there was no way to prevent it, predict it or change it. I was a mother without a child and I felt like an abject failure. I didn't eat for a week. I would try for family members. I can't explain it, I just couldn't. I didn't want to get out of bed in the morning. I just hurt and nothing in the world could take that pain away. My kitties helped me more than I can say. When I came home from the hospital, they were so excited and happy to see me. They followed me everywhere and wouldn't leave my side. They cuddled me, would lay with me, and were affectionate. When my husband went back to work, I was alone all day for the first time since everything happened. The cats made me feel like I wasn't alone. Also, I needed to get out of bed to feed them, and they needed affection and playtime. They needed me to be their mommy. Feeling needed and loved made a huge difference. My husband, family and friends were there for me, but I can't explain how having 2 little kitties who needed me helped. It wasn't the same as having my daughter, but I knew that I was still good for something, which allowed me to slowly start healing. They helped me through my depression and I will always be grateful for them. I am pregnant again with another little girl. She is very healthy and does not have the same disorder that claimed her sister's life. The cats keep a close eye on me. They snuggle my bump. They follow me around. If I so much as get up to go to the bathroom, which is only a few feet from the bedroom, they follow me and wait, then will sit on the bed with me again. They make me feel so loved. TLDR. My cats helped pull me out of a very bad depression because they needed me to be their mommy and I needed to be a mommy. I want to give you all the hugs in the world, and tuna for the kittens. We got this cat. We had wild cats that would live in the barn. My parents fed them because, obviously, they kept pests away. One day a kitten fell from the rafters, and my mom took it in and cared for it until it was better, then put it back in the barn. The mother wouldn't take it back because it smelled of us. So now we have our first ever house cat. Very, very standoffish. She was a cross between an outside cat and a wild cat. A few days after I was told my parents were getting a divorce, I broke down, ran into the guest bedroom, and wept uncontrollably. Just then, this cat that wouldn't have anything to do with humans came in and cuddled with me. She left after a while, but it really made me feel like something cared for me. I was completely destroyed when she was ran over by a car. My cat used to bring me the carcasses of the things she had killed. She'd put it on our front porch and sit next to it proudly. It was disgusting, but I always showed appreciation as not to hurt her feelings. I've heard that cats do that not because they are contributing, but because they feel that you're unable to hunt for yourself. Basically, they think you're helpless like a kitten. Dog trainer and pet sitter here. A dog I've known for 4 years since he was 12 WKS, and I went camping last full moon. The coyotes could be heard throughout the night. I have trained the dog fully without leash, so I trusted he wouldn't run away even though he wouldn't come in my tent. Instead, he sat right outside my tent the whole night, but leaning his body against mine through the tent. Every time I woke up or moved, he'd be sitting upright, keeping guard. The next day he could barely stay awake though. Really cute to see a full-grown dog have trouble keeping its head up. A lion didn't eat me this one time. Of course it was on the other side of a glass encasement, but I appreciated the gesture anyway. I've been not eaten by a lion heaps of times. My cat brought in a not quite but mostly dead rabbit the other day, dumped it on my lap, and fricked off. Best present ever. Not me, but my friend was sick with what was assumed the flu. Her cat wouldn't leave her alone and kept trying to lay on her stomach. The cat started howling when her temperature started to get a little too high for anyone, so we took her to the hospital. Turned out she had appendicitis. Playing with my pet mouse, Roo. This fly kept buzzing around and annoying me. It flew near her a couple of times and the final time she just grabbed it straight out of the air and ate it. Crazy ninja mouse. There was a bat in my house once, so I woke my cat up and he caught it, and then he ate, washed himself, and went back to sleep. It was the most useful he's ever been. Sometimes my dog hunts cranaflies, but usually he hunts textbooks and essays. I found a cat I had about a year ago wandering through my house with a piece of paper folded in his mouth. Interested in simultaneous cat harassment and finding out what this paper is, I take it from him. It's a folded up $20 bill. That paid the way for the cat a long time until he started peeing the bed. I once had a long conversation with a fox about how it liked city life compared to roaming forest farm areas. I sometimes wonder what I actually talked to with and how it must have looked for a person not on shrooms. Did the same thing with a coyote. It walked up to me on my steps while I was having a cigarette. I live in the suburbs fairly close to dense urban areas, so I don't know where the frick he came from, lol. I was at our local animal shelter looking for a cat to adopt when the lady working there led me to a room where all the cats play. I sat down as they all walked up to me except for one, a pretty little grey cat that sat in the corner. The lady said that one wasn't very friendly and didn't like to be petted. That cat looked at her, then trotted over to me and sat in my lap purring. I picked her up and petted her while the lady looked at me in shock. I thought it was funny. During an argument with a girlfriend in a very public place, a dog trotted over, and in a way I can only describe as arrogantly smug, he cocked his leg and peed inside her Ugg boot. Ugg boot. Back when I was applying to universities, my cat took a dump on a prospectus I left lying around. Took it as a sign of his disapproval and didn't apply to that particular uni. But that might have been his way of marking the one. You fool. I was really sad once because my hamster died and my cat came up and cuddled with me. It was nice of her and made me happy. Your cat killed your hamster. My ex broke up with me on my birthday and I was so upset because I didn't know what I had done wrong. I finally broke down crying, alone, and my cat that I had never touched came up to me and started rubbing on me and cuddling me. It made me feel special and it was just what I needed. He wasn't going to let anyone know I was crying. He's a dong to everyone else in the house, but he loves me. That's sweet. I'm sorry your ex did that to you. That's lame. My mom worked at a nursing home for a while. There was a cat that lived there, and whenever one of the residents was feeling ill close to death, the cat would sleep in their bed with them. Twist, Kitty was actually a serial killer. I was on vacation in Victoria, Canada a few years ago with my family. We were playing near a pond in Beacon Hill Park, feeding the ducks and throwing a ball around, when my younger brother dropped the ball into the pond. I floated out about 10 feet from the shore and we thought it was gone, when all of a sudden the duck started swimming towards the ball and pushed it towards us with his beak. We couldn't believe our eyes. The duck pushed it all the way to the edge of the pond where we could reach it. We were cracking up and just plain amazed the duck just did that. Needless to say, we fed that duck the rest of the bread we had. I will never forget that duck. Sometimes, in the middle of the night, my cat suddenly looks up and starts staring at a random area in my room. It is then that I know a ghost is present and I bring out the vacuum cleaner to suck it in. Ghostbuster cat is a good cat. That reminds me of the time I was taking care of my bro's dog and she randomly started growling and barking at a random spot in the living room. I started thinking it was a ghost and called my parents, freaking the frick out. I still wonder to this day what she was barking at. Relaying a story from toddlerhood. I guess we lived on a farm out in the boondocks, and while my mom was away my dad passed TFO while he was supposed to be watching me, and I got out the front door and started down the driveway towards the main road, a dirt road, but traveled somewhat nonetheless. I'm told that one of our dogs grabbed me by the diaper, one stood there and barked at me, one ran around the three of us barking insanely, and the fourth proceeded to run back and forth from us to the house barking hysterically. This is what greeted my mom as she returned from the grocery store. I came home from school and went to my backyard to say hello to my dog. Dog rushes to me all happy like and runs off to the back. I call for him to come back and play. Instead of running back, he's kind of trotting back with his head high and a big dead rat in his mouth. I stared in shock and amazement while he comes closer and drops it near my feet. The best part was when he looked up in my eyes and had that dog smile of, "Look what I got, look what I got. I got it for ya." I was so proud. We played for a long time, but I dare not let him lick me. P. Not exactly on topic, but we had a German Shepherd when I was a kid. We were at a lake and he tried to pull a drowning kid to shore, but it turned out that the kid wasn't drowning. He was showing his dad how long he could float face down without moving. His dad unsurprisingly didn't believe our explanation. My dad used to take him hunting. He wouldn't let kids play with toy guns. He would take them from you and give them to an adult. My little brother and I were raised on a godforsaken mountain in Canada and we had a husky dog that we would take for long walks through the forest every day. Once, to play a trick on her, my little brother distracted her and I buried myself completely in snow and my brother started freaking out and screaming, "Where's Joytron? Where's Joytron?" Our dog became frantic, sussed me out by scent immediately, and dug until she had rescued me, after which she couldn't stop whimpering and licking me. We didn't play this trick again because we felt so guilty. She was such an awesome dog. Late to the game, my pet cockatiel noticed I was crying on the couch one day. I suffer from bad migraines, was in a lot of pain, and just having a really rough day. He flew down from his cage, hopped onto my shoulder, fluffed up his feathers so he was super soft and kissed the tears off my cheek. He was only 4 months old at the time, just a baby. He probably just liked the salty tears, but it was such a sensitive gesture that it immediately made me feel so much better. Animals are awesome. Earlier my dog took a crap on the bed because fireworks. Then he peed on the bed because he knew I would be mad at him. He's a great dog but he's an idiot. Bit late to the party, but my family dog used to collect cans and bottles and put them in the bin. This was fantastic when as a teenager, we had parties at my parents' house. We'd all sloth around hungover, while Spud cleaned up all the empties for us. Best dog ever. I don't know about you, but a monkey once smacked me over the head because I had a banana, and it wanted the banana. Then when I was a kid, I was looking into a car window at a pet monkey and it jumped up and slapped me in the face. Monkeys are buttholes. Growing up I had a Basset Beagle mix. Looked like a 50-pound dachshund. She was chained up in the backyard doing her business when my mom asked me to go to the front yard to get the mail. As I was turning to go back to the house, 2 large dogs, around 80-100 pounds each, ran over from the neighbor's house. Not sure if they were rabid, but they didn't have a collar and were very dirty with matted mud in their yellow coats. Both dogs slowly followed me as I backtailed, showing their teeth and snarling. As one would lunge, my screams would scare it back a step. I circled the yard about twice, screaming for help as I spotted a neighbor in her backyard pretend not to hear and walk inside. Just as the dogs became bolder and came closer, my screams intensified. I then heard a metal chain clanking as my little buddy came charging after them. Both dogs hightailed it as my dog gave chase for about 100 yards. She walked back with the broken chain in tow thinking she'd be in trouble. She either saved my life or saved me from a nasty mauling. Pretty incredible for a smallish dog. I once was out camping with a group of friends when I was in my late teens. I was talking with a girl and a big dragonfly was buzzing around us. I stuck out my finger like a perch and to the amazement of both of us, the dragonfly landed right on there. Although I acted like I was some kind of beastmaster or something, I got laid that night. Thank you, Mr. Dragonfly. Actually, I didn't really get laid that night. I'm sorry, I just can't bring myself to lie to strangers on the internet. But the rest of the story was true. My mum's cat saw us putting presents under the Christmas tree and disappeared for a bit. He came back later with a dead bird, which he added to the collection of presents under the tree. It was both touching and a bit upsetting, haha, but he meant well, I'm sure. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.